Okay, thank you very much for summarizing. I also would like to tackle, because we were talking about it and I had already the luck to see this handbook and read it through regarding the training course. I would like to know, especially with the experience of or training professionals in the topic, that what do you see the strongest and biggest challenges they have as participants regarding to this topic, participating in a training which is tackling the topic of mental and physical safety? Zora, maybe if you...
Yeah. I would first, yes, to wish welcome to all the participants today. I'm so happy the number and the interest of the people, the interaction that we have. So my pleasure to join you and to be with you all through. With my colleague Krista and Julia, we met last year, month before as we are. It was perfect time, I think, in May. And we have very, very successful communication and training delivery with our colleagues all around Europe, speaking about the importance of the safety. In the same time, I'm the professional trainer or the certified training course for youth workers in Macedonia. And I would like to emphasize the topic that we have today on the table, that most of the youth workers in Europe are not aware of the importance of the discussion that we have today. And the safety of youth work is the maybe number one priority of drafting the program for the further youth workers whenever they will be on the place, rather in the school, in the youth center, or on the street youth work. And therefore, I would like to share that before speaking about this training module that we have of safety, most of the youth workers were not aware about how the starting points of youth work needs to be. So growing up, the youth work methodology of training needs to be based on the safety, both of the safety that we speak today, not just the physical but psychical safety of young people. So again, I would like to stress the importance and awareness. More or less, all the people who are youth workers around Europe are enough skilled, are enough have a capacity to transfer the knowledge, to guide the program, but on the end of the brain, forget about the safety. So that's why I put on the place on the list number one before starting whatever you do is the point of the safety of the participant, safety of delivering of the program and results as well. So I really would like to very, very friendly speaking to say that before this project in our training program was not part of the sessions about the safety. So taking in consideration the impact of what we are doing in our training model, we add specific because we find out it's crucial. That's the safety of youth work. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Krista?
I wanted to add that I saw two key issues which are really difficult. One I already mentioned at the beginning of this online conference is that it's really difficult to see our mistakes, especially on the field of safety, because usually, like, I don't know anyone who would explicitly want to harm participants. Youth workers usually want to provide them with something, with something good, with something meaningful. So it's really difficult to look into the mirror and accept our mistakes and faults that we make. So this was also present during the training courses and when we made this training curricula. Now I have a blackout. But the second, which was also difficult, is to move from knowing into practice. Because many times we know things very well. in our head because we read it in books, because we discussed it with our colleagues. But to practice what we preach or what we think is extremely hard. Because especially when we talk about, for example, emotional things, like we as professionals, we are also emotional beings. So I might know like how to handle a youngster who is difficult, yeah? But when my own emotion is frustration, is anxiety, is anger, then it's really difficult to keep my professional aspect and professional way of dealing with the youngster and the situation. So what we also experienced during this training course is that while we were sitting in the room, in the training room, and discussing and filling out flip charts and self-evaluation and being smart with each other, it was rather different. Then we have a simulation in the program. The simulation is there for a reason, is a simulation so you as a youth worker can get more like sensory and experiential chance to practice what you already know. And during the simulation, we saw in all the situations that it is difficult to move from knowing into doing and practicing. So this is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Yes, Zoran.
Yeah. One of the things that I left to share based on experience that we have as a youth workers, but based on the findings that all of the products that was delivered through this project was very relative. If you try to research via colleagues or via internet, whatever you do the research, there is no enough materials for safety of youth work. There is 1,000 maybe of materials that concerning the safety in general. But this project brings the resource for this, as we have 48 or 66 participants, that could be a tools for further implementation of the practice working with young people on the daily basis. So one of the very big added values of the training that we have is to have appropriated tools designed for youth work, not designed to any kind of this different field of the safety, but youth works in Europe, because I am the member of different European Youth Work Association and conference. We find out that materials related with the youth work safety, it's a very relative, and those of the tools are quite easy implementing on even different type of young people. And what the youth workers need is a resource that is already tested on the ground and could be very easy applied in every geographical or different kind of content on the European countries as well. So this was for my side very important to share with all the audience that we have here, that all the resources that are free for use, it's quite on the level of the quality very high, and it's already tested and in practice to know what can be adjusted in the real situation of the implementation of them on the working on the daily basis with the young people. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you a lot, Zoran. There are more things which popped up for me from what you were saying and what I was hearing. But one thing was also getting me, and also seeing the program of the training in the handbook. I didn't have the luck to participate, but just to see the content. That reflection has a very important part in the program. And as Krista was mentioning, this might be quite challenging. So I would, but still, I find that probably it's super useful. So I would raise the questions: how do you see that reflection for those who work with young people, teachers, peer educators, youth workers, etc., the professionals? and the young people on their own. How can they deal with this reflection, and what can bring this reflection to them? If you see it in any ways. Yeah, Julia or Krista or whoever feels like.
I really would be happy if Julia could speak about this. And it's not a secret that, as I said, that our team, we wanted to have a diverse team. So as I said, like I had already experience of youth work and training, 20 plus years, but Julia was fresh and new to this, and we were very happy to have her because it was also super important for us that what we came up with is possible to be implemented also not only dinosaurs like me, but also for other trainers and professionals who are newer to this field. So I would be very happy if Julia could answer this question because she was the fresh one in our team.
Thank you. Well, reflection took part both from the participants' point of view, and we also had moments after the training and before the training, as trainers, where we discussed what should have been done differently or what went well or not. From the peer exchange moments, after sometimes I took part in different trainings, both as a participant and as a trainer. So sometimes we had circles, just simple circles where we talked together with the trainers, and those opening reflection moments, sharing moments were so important and so easy to implement. It's something very very simple. You just sit and share your ideas, your feelings, sometimes even just a word with the people that are with you. And those sharing moments really helped setting the atmosphere, helped resolving any unsolved problem or issue that was maybe from the day before. And as well, the closing moments where we had those reflection and sharing time, which was there at the end of every day, and sometimes even at the beginning, were incredibly powerful for participants to, as a, how can I say, pressure to release steam, because after a day so full of stimulation events, talking, having those moments was incredibly helpful to let them go anything that was still there. And as the name says, to reflect about what they gain from the training, what they learned, what they did think it was not okay. So they had the chance to talk to us. And one thing that was incredibly important, again, in the topic of reflection, was that, as Krista said, we sometimes give for granted that we planned a great training on paper. We talked about it with so many Zoom meetings. But then in practice, I personally also realized that you still make mistakes. So you have to, I really invite you, if you can, to implement the training in your country, wherever you are, because you see, now it's, as Zoran said, it's tested. It's, in our opinion, it's perfect. But feel free to make mistakes, to try it in person. And you will see that you will always have something to add. You will always have something to develop and make better. And take time to also to reflect on that. So to reflect on the fact that it's not as you see it on paper. It will become your training as soon as you implemented it in country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia. I think it's very important you mentioning also there was in the harvesting, we saw about what can create safety. And then there is this sentence of being okay also to say no, but also this being okay to fail or to make mistakes as professionals you were mentioning. And then you say that it can be very challenging to face, I mean, not only you, but all three of you were mentioning that it can be very challenging to look in the mirror, to reflect on our mistakes or our failures. So based on your experience, what are the points of the issues that can trigger the professionals regarding to the topic, and especially when it comes to the creating the safety for themselves and for the others? What were triggering points for them which created like interference, which was really the push which they might have wanted even to avoid, if you can recall this?
I can share a specific example from one of the pilot trainings. You never know what is going to trigger. Like you might have certain ideas that can be difficult for the group or for certain participants. But I believe you need to be prepared that anything can happen at any time. We had as I said, we had a group of different abilities. So we had, for example, participants with autism in the training course. And as I work with this type of target group, I was prepared somewhat for their needs and their reactions. But even that could not be fully run smoothly. Yeah, so they would have difficulties. In this case, not from me, but from other participants. Because as I said, while we are sitting in the room and safe and sound and comfortable, everyone can be understanding towards someone who lives with autism and might react differently to certain situations. As soon as they were out in the simulation, outside of the building, outside of the room, the participants with autism, they faced very difficult situations from their fellow participants. Because suddenly what was working while talking, it was not working during the simulation. This is one example that I can share. The other one, as a trigger point, like in itself, talking about safety, talking about vulnerability, talking about mental health issues, for example, itself, it can be a huge trigger point for many. So it did happen also during one of the pilot trainings that one participant simply listening to me when I was speaking about different resources for vulnerability, she found herself in a very difficult emotional and mental point. So you should never underestimate the sensitivity of this topic, because simply saying a word can be triggering. And finally, also when Reka was showing you the website with the case studies, you see the trigger warning, because as Reka said, like these stories are real, all of them happened. We changed the location and the name, but the stories are real. And even simply reading a case study can be really triggering for someone if it's about a kind of a situation which hits close home to an individual.
And if I can add, just always from a personal experience, also as a professional, or as professionals, we all have different ways of communicating, different personalities. You may have seen it now during the online training, and also happened during the training that I underestimate the level or humor or sarcasm that I always use when talking And again, that happened that my not taking care of this was a trigger point for someone that didn't understand that I was being sarcastic and felt hit by what I said. What I said. It didn't. The person participating didn't tell me until the very last day of the training, when we offered a moment to solve the unsolved. So we said, whatever issue you still have, please don't come home with it. And I'm very happy that the person addressed me, told me that in that moment he felt he didn't feel okay with my way of addressing him or my way of talking with this humor that sometimes is not well understood. And I'm incredibly grateful for this. And I wanted to raise attention about also this aspect, that we also need to take care of something that we might not think sometimes. But since we are working with different people and different personality, we need to, and we have to take care to the way we use our language or our way of being.
Thank you for adding, Julia. Like I hear also from Krista and you the trigger warning, the cultural sensitivity, the importance of all those things which are very much connected and resonating with the things which came up throughout the small group discussions as a result, what creates safety for young people. And I heard something super important from you now, or at least how you describe it, that there was a space given to express whatever was there, and not necessarily in a big audience, but with small groups, as I understood. I also hear that, yeah, it's a challenge and it's gonna be challenging always. Zoran, it got me very much thinking in the beginning when you mentioned that how much safety in youth work in general is actually not as much highlighted as we believe here on this conference, because we probably are here because we take it for granted that it's important, but you mentioned that it's not that. So my question is, and that would be a question which I would ask to answer all of you at a certain, like as a closing question, is how we who understand that it's important can actually raise awareness about it, and in a level of actions, let's say, because again it was mentioned knowledge is often there, but so what would you say to all these people here? My question for all three of you, what you think, how can we raise awareness about the safety in youth work, the importance of it and the knowledge which we carry with us?
Okay, I will start first with the example and the practice as we do, or when we consider to work with our programs related with the youth works. What we can do, we can rewrite everything. So starting the daily session with youth worker, with young people related with the youth work, we need to redefine everything. What we do as our experience. I announced in the beginning that I'm coming from the training provider for youth work. And what we do in our training modules for certified youth work trainings, we go through all the training modules and we say, okay, now let's see where we can add the sessions related with the safety of youth work. So redefining the training materials and considering on the high priority level where to speak about the importance of the youth work safety. It's a first step that we can do, because we do in our training program, finding out that this is quite important. And before that, we are not worried, because whenever we speak about a safety of youth work, we say, okay, we know about. No, we don't know. We don't practice. We don't put the energy on the session about that. We don't highlight the importance about that to our colleagues or to the young people on our session. So therefore, again, I say, in the professional aspect, because we have it here in this conference, we have a professor, social people, professionals in the social, in the scientific point of view of the social support of young people. The first step is let's redefine our training model, place it on the first position, and then we can speak about the competencies that we want to develop of our youngsters. But let's redefine in the point of the safety first, and we will see that on the end, the full package of the training model will be included, all of the steps that we speak all today through this conference about the safety environment of work with young people. And then what again I want to point out is let's find a new approaches, let's find a new methods, let's integrate the new methods, because as everything in the business world it's changing, as our environment is changing, the new methods will be going up. So just continue to work on developing the new tools for the safety and put into practice, as Krista say and as Julia. Let's check if it's work. If it's not work, let's change the model, and next time we will be a better, because every success is based on the very good failure. So we will be our best as we can do, but to do our best, we need to put into practice. So this is my general points on the question, Victoria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zoran. Krista, closing.
I would say it's really difficult to be humble and vulnerable, because we are there to facilitate something. So obviously we have to have certain level of confidence and the ability to stand in front of youngsters and be in charge. And to combine this with vulnerability and being humble is super difficult. At least for me, it is difficult, because actually it's like balancing, like being strong and being weak in one way or another, to simply put. So for me, it takes a lot of courage and willingness, first of all, to be in this place myself when I'm working as a professional. So self-knowledge and such kind of things are quite handy. So that would be one from me. And the other one, which is more technical and practical, is that you never give up and you push for safety, no matter what your surrounding is saying about that. You should do it not because of anyone is expecting it from you, but if nothing else, but then remind yourself that if you fail, then it's gonna be big. It's gonna be a big failure, not a small one. And actually, there are people's life in your hand. So you can remind yourself for this. And I think it's more important than what your boss is thinking, what the funder is saying, or what your national legislation is saying about such kind of topics. So you have to be really stubborn and push this topic in every step of your work.
Thank you, Krista.
And to conclude, since it's what I did, how can you raise awareness? Well, first study a lot. User platform when it will be ready. Read the documents because it's there. You have something from our experience and from the participants to our trainings experience that it's there for you. So use it. So acknowledge what it's there and share it. That's my other advice. Share it with whoever you know, because again, there are many things that me personally before I took for granted that for me were obvious, but then practicing them and seeing them during the training, I realized that there was more, that I need to study more, to know more, to use all the material I had. So study, share, and practice. Of course, that's my closing advice.
Thank you very much, Julia, and it's wonderful closing words, actually. I would like to say thank you, Zoran, also to join us for this roundtable, and in general, all of us. And thank you for all of you who are here on the conference and still holding up with us. It's been now 1 o'clock and 1 minute, so we are already a little bit behind the time. So I really appreciate that you're still around. Thank you a lot. I repeat that you are going to receive a follow-up email with all the information that was mentioned here, so you don't need to remember, and also the harvestings and the conclusions which comes up or came up also from the conference. And as a checkout to make sure that you also can close it for yourself if you are not in a rush, I just really would like to invite you to find an emoji, to push it, to press it, to say goodbye, to express yourself, to check out from this conference with the reacts. There are more, by the way,
Thank
not
you very
only
much.
those 5.